Okay, hello everybody. Today, what we want to know is, what is this thing here? What is it? ECU. What's an ECU? What do the letters ECU stand for? ECU.
Electronic computer unit.
Electronic is the first word. Sorry, Nancy? Electronic control unit, Nancy. Fantastic, that's the word. Electronic control unit. Right, this thing here is the difference between the old cars and you can say the new cars. Right, you understand why that's the difference, Calvin? What's the difference? Why does this make everything so different?
This one got brains.
It got brains. Yeah, it got brains to do what? Control the fuel. Yeah, before the entire fueling process in a car was mechanical. Today it is all controlled by this electronic control unit or computer box. It does just that, it computes. It takes the information about this engine using the sensors and feeds it into this computer box that will now take that, put it into an algorithm or script and come out with something to do on an actuator pin, give out electronic signal to an actuator. What's the difference between sensors and actuators? You got sensors, right, and actuators. And then in the middle you got your ECU. Right, what's the difference between a sensors and actuators? We know what's an ECU now. Right. A sensor is something that tells the computer box something about this engine. This computer box needs to know everything about this engine. It needs to know how much of air is coming in. How cold is the air? What can tell it that? What can tell something how cold, how hot or cold air is? A thermometer, a temperature sensor. So a temperature sensor will tell this ECU how hot or cold the air in the engine is, and it will then control the regulating to your fuel injectors, which is your main actuators. One is telling the computer something, the other one, the computer is telling that thing to do something. The brains is telling it to do something. You understand that? The sensor will sense something. The actuators act. It's like doing an act. It's got an action. It must now create an action. So this thing will tell you to create an action. The action on the main actuator in our system is called the fuel injection. The fuel injector. It needs to tell it when to open, when to close. Yeah, to the millisecond. It needs to tell you when to open and close to the millisecond.
So there's no feedback that tells the computer that the sensors opens like this much, or
on the newer cars, the later models, there is actually feedback that will tell it what the resistance is on this actual actuator injector. But on the older ones, it's really the computer box that will say open for 5 milliseconds, for example. And you need to check on the other side on your wiring that it is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing for 5 milliseconds. You check with your oscilloscope.
So this ECU only works on petrol cars with diesel cars.
Ah, nice question. No, it does have you get it on diesel cars as well. The difference is petrol and diesel. Your main aim of this is to try and reach the point of stoichiometry through all rev ranges and all load ranges. So it tries to calculate it as close as possible. And it's different for diesel and petrol, just by one is 14.7:1 and another one is 12.4:1. That is all, gentlemen. Thank you for attending this lecture.